The 2 Count, where comedy meets wrestling. Please comment, share, and like, and if you're watching the live stream, join us with your comments and questions. And now here are the hosts of The 2 Count, comedian John Russell, and wrestling broadcaster Big Ace.
Hey everybody, happy Tuesday to you. So happy to see all of you there with us. Tonight we've got an off format a little bit because, to be honest, Ace and I were talking about it, and there's been just all sorts of stuff going on. You had a fantastic interview show with Papa Briscoe and Wes last week that kind of, well, I don't want to say wore you out, but was kind of...
well, it made me miss Dynamite. That was the
yeah. And then you tried to catch up, and
we didn't start the. We had planned to record it at a certain time. Things didn't work out.
Hey, Dan.
Way. Like hour and a half, 2 hours later. What's up, Dan? So it was a little later. So by the time we got on, did the show, and then by the time Jerry got off, ended the show, he gets off, and then Wes and I, recap and just hang out for a minute. Yeah, Dynamite was over, so I didn't watch it. I heard about
Chris.
it. Sounded cool. Chris, what's up, buddy? Happy New Year.
There you go.
Hey,
I get in. Well, go ahead. You go ahead and finish. My head just jumps all over the place at these points.
Yeah, no. Anyways, what I was saying is like, yeah. So I didn't get to watch Dynamite. It sounded cool. I was, it was funny before this last week's Dynamite. I kept thinking like,
it is not, Alex. No match game tonight. Good to see you though.
I was sitting there wondering, like, they're doing all this cross promotion, but they really aren't yet. You know what I mean? Like, Kenny's going to Impact. That was all that was really happening. Callis was coming over to AEW, and it was just kind of like, really, is this what the extent of this whole crossover thing was going to be?
Now you get the reunited Bullet Club.
And it was funny because then it was like, oh, okay, well, right when I was thinking that, the next episode, oh, everybody's there, and it's a reuniting everybody together. And I don't know, like, how do you feel about that? Just because it's weird to be like, because in all reality, the Bullet Club is still a thing in New Japan.
Yeah.
So kind of like, I don't know, just how do you feel about it?
So first of all, I think the whole scenario, I mean, let's put it this way. I like it. I like the fact that they're doing this cross promotion stuff with Impact, because I think that's got to be kind of the future of professional wrestling. Because when you take a look at what's happening with WWE and how the fact that they run out of stories, even though they've got almost everybody they need to do whatever they want to. And here with AEW, and this is clearly the guys, the boys putting together stuff and coming up with stuff versus having somebody who has zero wrestling experience coming up with storylines and crap for a 3-hour show. So
yeah, but it's more and more now sounding like that's not even the scenario. The scenario is really Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon,
right,
coming up with horrible 3-hour programming.
Right.
But to be honest, too, it's not all horrible. I didn't watch the other night just because I was still a little sore over Goldberg coming back. But I did read on, and I did watch some stuff. Like the Alexa Bliss stuff was cool. Triple H was out there wrestling. That's always fun. You can bitch about it if you want. Like, oh, you don't need, but it's fun. He's like, that's a guy I'd rather see come back than freaking Goldberg.
Yeah, but here's the thing. He had to, because McIntyre's got COVID, and to be honest, I was a little bit surprised by the fact that WWE announced.
Yeah, I'm glad you
had him do a promo about it.
I'm glad you said that, because I thought the same thing, and someone else today brought that up to my attention as well. So I'm glad to see other people are thinking that, but we just jumped like 3 different things.
I know, it's too easy to do. Plus, I also want to mention too, that if you're wondering what's on behind me, this is the final NWA Shockwave of the season when Serena Deeb beats Thunder Rosa for the title. If you haven't seen that, it's free on the NYWA YouTube channel.
What was that on originally though? Because that had already happened. Right?
This was it had happened. They just never showed it.
No, it was on
primetime wrestling is what they call it.
It was on something live when it happened because everybody knew the title changed.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was on. I seen them post about it.
Club of Bullets. Oh, Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I mean, I know they're not going to call it.
I think they called it the Blizz Cliz or something too.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just funny because like this is what it was all going to, anyways, when this all began. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of just going to that. But my whole thing with what we were when to go back to the first thing we touched on, and that was the working together with these other companies.
oh yeah,
It is, you know, and I get it. I get that there's a feel of kind of bringing in a territorial feel back. But at the end of the day, I just don't see it working. And at the end of the day, for right now, the two companies that really shouldn't be doing it, and again, this is just my opinion. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. I don't care. But this is just how I think. Is WWE and AEW. And I get, you know, AEW. Well, but here's the deal. They're still only been around for a year, and they still have a lot of great talent that they haven't done anything to build much around other than some dark matches. So why are we doing this where you're not even really, you're not full bloom yet as a company, and you're already going to other talent pools? And I get it, whatever, but to me, work on what you have there, build that for a couple of years, grow it into the company that's going to be AEW. And then if you want to start doing that, that's fine, but at the end of the day, you also have to remember it's entertainment and business. This isn't an independent promotion.
right.
You know, so all these companies are still going for ratings and TV contracts and sponsorships. And at the end of the day, there's going to be companies and TV networks that are going to be like, well, yeah, no, we like you, AEW, but why are you working with Impact? They just shot a guy at a fake wedding to a demon.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm just saying, and I get it. Yeah. Abaddon, all that kind of stuff. It's crazy. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's going to speak louder than them being able to really legitimately make this whole like thing into a territorial feel for years to come. It's just not going to happen. That's why I've always said, you want to do this integration of these promotions, one show a year, and it's a one big bang. You get all the companies together. You get these dream match scenarios. You go 2-3 months out to lead into it. And it's like the Super Bowl of wrestling.
Yeah.
And that would maybe be even one way you might, because if it's that big and the money's right and it speaks, WWE will do business if it's right.
Yeah.
That might be the only way you see it happen with all of them. But I don't know. And again, I'm not mad. I will watch and enjoy what's happening, but I'm just saying, like, come on. There's so many people that could be getting TV time and really used in storylines, and they're not doing it.
Yeah.
So why are you now bringing in these other people?
Yeah, I agree with that. So here's another thing that happened. You may or may not know about. In the last week or so, WWE released about 3.5 hours of their best of, which was in essence a tribute to Brody Lee, and it's got a lot of his closest friends in the promotion talking about him, Bray and Strowman and Seth and Big E and Xavier, all and of course Cesaro, all talking about. I didn't get through the whole thing. The matches are fantastic. The first match they show is the Shield Wyatt family that you mentioned you were at in Minneapolis, and it is truly fantastic. So I think the people that jumped on them for not doing something immediately jumped the gun on it, because I feel like they have done a very good job of remembering a guy who, to be honest, doesn't work for the promotion or didn't work for the promotion at the time of his passing. And I feel like I just feel like that whole thing was respectful, but that's available now on the network. You can go and watch that. And as I said, 3.5 hours, and it's all good stuff.
Yeah. I did. What's that, on the network?
Yep.
Yeah. I haven't been on the network for a while. Actually, I take it back. I have been, but like the only thing I've been watching the last few like weeks on the network are just old Royal Rumbles and literally just the matches.
Oh,
I don't know. It's the season, and it is one of my favorite just matches, you know? You know? And like those old ones and like the Attitude Era. I love the Austin ones where it's always like him and McMahon. Like when McMahon and him are the first two, or were they the first two in there? Yeah, they were the first two in the ring. And they all ambush him in the women's bathroom on the concourse. And then he ends up still winning, though. It's just good stuff, you know? Or when he just clears the ring and everybody's got a bounty on his head.
Yeah.
It's just good stuff, man. It's been fun watching those old ones.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. So we
you had touched on the McIntyre stuff.
Oh yeah.
And it is funny that well, first of all, they also made a real big point to say he doesn't have symptoms, but someone else brought this to my attention. You mentioned it too when you brought that up a minute ago, and I agree as well. I thought it was weird for a company who's been very, 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 very quiet about all COVID thing going on behind their doors. Really weird. And I get you. Well, he's the champ. You have to, because you don't. You can do whatever you want. So, someone was talking to me earlier and they were like, this feels like a work. Like they're just using this as storyline as a way to make him look weak to lose to Goldberg so then he can beat him at Mania.
That's entirely possible. I didn't think about that but here's the other thing. I saw today that they're surmising that Kofi has COVID, but yet they're saying he has a broken jaw.
Well, and I had heard that it was like a pretty decent outbreak throughout all the shows.
Yeah, all of them.
So there's more people who have it. We're just not hearing about it.
They have it over on AEW as well. They're just lucky because all the stuff is already taped for this week.
Right. So it's but it was funny because it was like it really does. It's weird. How are you going to go from you don't even want to talk about COVID to all of a sudden our champ has it? It just conveniently was right after Goldberg pushed him to the ground.
Oh yeah, that's how you get it. You get shoved down your butt,
and because
you catch the COVID.
Well, the other thing too is, I get it. Like Goldberg went over on Brock, and so did McIntyre. But there's no way in hell you can legitimately make fans believe Goldberg can beat McIntyre.
Yeah,
clean at 100%. It just can. It's unbelievable.
True.
And there's no way you can turn that around. There's no way you can make that like Daniel Bryan being the fucking small man and making it. There's just no way you can make Goldberg the hero in this situation. And who the hell are these little kids that are apparently he's their hero? He doesn't do damnly near enough.
They don't
any facet of media for him to be anybody's hero. Yes. Yeah, exactly. 3 claymores and be done with it.
All he has to do is hit him on the nose once and he'll fall down. Hit him on the head. He just has to hit him in the head right about here one time. Not only will it bust him open, he'll go loopy.
Yeah, I'm hoping he concusses himself on the way to the ring again. That's what I'm hoping.
Hit your head on the door, dummy.
Anyways, it's just, it's funny. I don't know. It made sense. It's like, yeah, they could totally be, because if he does lose at the Rumble, it wouldn't be a stretch to see them be like, well, I was still tired and recovering.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
It's just ridiculous. And how do you feel about Ric Flair turning on Charlotte and is now with Lacey Evans?
To be honest,
God bless them for still keeping him the hornball he is.
To be honest, I think it's hilarious. I mean, initially, I will say this. I loved when he first, during that match, when he grabbed Charlotte's leg and pulled her down and she yelled at him and made him go home, basically. Right. I thought that was the greatest. And I got to be honest with you, I mean, it's like Charlotte's very talented. I don't know that I'm a huge fan of hers per se, but that helps. Just the idea that she's like, go home, turn around, walk away.
What I find fascinating is like, with Lacey Evans, they've really, and I can't tell because she was heel, the classy lady heel. Then it was kind of like now she's with Peyton Royce, maybe kind of face, kind of not obviously now because Charlotte's, well, I don't know either. It was
but that's because there was some stuff that Drew got had that he was supposed to say about the legends that got cut because they were running out of time.
Yeah,
and Goldberg went ahead and just read it all anyway.
That's the funniest thing, is that Goldberg can't go on the fly at all, and he proved that last week. Because it's like, what are you talking about, dude? It's like, he didn't say anything. Man, it was funny, but I love it because the whole thing with Lacey Evans is if she puts off the vibes as her character is, like, she wouldn't be with an old gross man like that. Plus they really always played in her military background, so I'm surprised they didn't really try to go hardcore babyface with her. But I freaking love it, though. I think it's great. I love that she's out there calling him daddy. I want to see them come down now next time together, and he's just behind her, just woo woo. Like, you remember when he came out when Edge and Lita did the live sex celebration on Raw?
Yeah,
and he interrupts them, and he starts taking his clothes off and just like humping the air, just repeatedly going woo woo woo, like, I'll show you how it's done. That was like a classic moment. I laugh every time I see that, so I want to see him come out and do that with Lacey Evans. But I mean, how far are they going to go with this bill?
Who knows, man? I'll tell you, the whole thing with Lacey Evans is this, man. They never. She's just always waving in the wind, you know. When it's she's a mother. Oh, she's a military mother. She's and now she's a trollop. And I mean, it's just all over the place. They don't give this woman a chance to take one thing and stick with it.
Right. You know, it's like Jason said, how do they have 3 hours? How do they get pressed for time for anything? You have the talent to build a 3-hour show fairly easy. Just be creative and use their strengths with each other. Like, it's not freaking hard. But again, this is what happens when you have one very old man who is kind of not with the times, and then just another older man who's his yes man and claims that we can't handle new things. We're not ready for change. It's like, no, we're ready for change. It's just your change sucks, dude.
Yeah, they don't grab. I mean, you know, it's funny because there's
other love. You know,
they don't grasp current life. They just don't, because they don't live a current life like most of their consumers do. And that's the problem. You know, when you have a rich old guy that does whatever the hell he wants to, and he thinks that, you know, dick and fart jokes are hilarious, guess what? That's what you're going to get. And it's, you know, you're entertaining an audience of one. And God love all the talent, because they've earned fans that'll follow them through all sorts of crap that they're going through. But again, not to poop on the product.
Yeah, it's I do feel bad as far as, like, they've never really fully pulled the trigger on Lacey Evans to be either that baby face or heel. Like you've said, they've kept her in like limbo. And to be honest, like, she could have been a pretty decent heel.
I mean, look, the woman's right thing is genius in my mind. And they just never let her use it.
It's true. But you're also seeing that, like, again, questionable calls, but you're and I hope it builds to something. But I mean, it looked like they wanted to do something with Lacey and Peyton. So maybe this, having Lacey go with Flair, you now have Peyton kind of on her own, so she can maybe take a run at more things single. I don't know. Maybe they bring them back together too. I don't know. And then because then you also because I mean, it's, I don't know. It's just weird. You got because, like, what's the Riot Squad doing? You know, you got Billie Kay kind of doing her thing on SmackDown, but, like, is she gonna get any, like, actual, like, stuff? It's just man. It's just a lot of women they got that they could be doing some cool
right.
stuff.
Woman's right. It's the heel of the hand there.
On your side of the wrist.
And yeah, that's true. She was.
Yeah, and that's also just another example, though, of them pulling some NXT talent and not really, like, knowing what to do and maybe doing it too soon. Which is why what there's, like, some sort of thing for NXTers now. Like, if they pull someone up, or did they have to be in NXT for so long now before they can pull them up or something? They had put some rule into effect because I think they realized they were pulling a few people up a little too early.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know that they're pulling people up too early. I think they're pulling people up with no idea what to do with them.
Yeah, and that's definitely a big part of it.
That's the bigger part, in my opinion. It's like, oh my God, Keith Lee is over in NXT. We need to get him up on the main roster to get people to watch him. Let's bring him up. What do we do with him? Well, I don't know. We sure as hell can't do the same thing he did at NXT. And that's what they do with all of them. It's just,
and it is so weird, the mindset of they were so successful in NXT. Because if you really do look at it, who were the last NXTers that got pulled up and really didn't get gimmicks messed with? Owens, Sami Zayn, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, the four horsewomen, Bliss. But like the last one to come up and not really have a gimmick change was Ember Moon, maybe? Was she after Jax?
Yeah.
Right. Maybe. And now you have these girls that coming up and you're kind of like not sure what to do with them. I think Chelsea Green was going to have a pretty promising start when she had her that SmackDown match a couple of months ago.
I agree.
So I don't know. It's just a weird time. It's going to be a very weird road to WrestleMania this year. It's going to be very weird.
It's going to be scattered with bodies that have COVID.
And they have still yet to announce if they're going to have fans down there for it. They haven't even actually officially announced that it's moved to Florida. Like, as of now, it's still slated for LA, I believe, even though they're not doing anything. They haven't had an official announcement that maybe they did and I missed it. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Well, all right.
It's interesting to see AEW move to Miami.
Yeah, I think that's going to be, to be honest, I think they were doing very well at Daly's place, and to move to Miami, I think it's going to be a little bit different.
Well, they're doing it to get warmer weather.
Yeah, I know that, but
it'll be nice. It'll give just a area change.
It'll be in a different area, I guess, and they'll probably. Do you think they'll do them real,
like live?
Yeah. Do you think they'll go back to live?
I don't know yet. Yeah, Damian Priest is an interesting one because he was supposed to debut like a week ago, and it got from what I read, the story with him is I know it's so cold though. Dude, every time I talk to Wes, he's like, man, it's like 50 degrees out, it's freezing. I gotta like bundle up. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'd be wearing shorts in 50 degrees, bro. That's summer out here. The thing with Damian Priest that I heard was they were going to pull him up and they were going to insert him into SmackDown. He's going to be, did you see this? He's going to be involved with Owens and Reigns and Uso.
Oh, no, I didn't.
And from the sounds of it, what had happened is Owens was just like, not that I don't want him up here, but the storyline now makes no sense. I'm just all of a sudden you're going to bring him onto SmackDown and claim me and him are best friends. Like, I've never interacted with him. He's like, it makes no sense why he's coming up here. And again, it's one of those, well, he kind of looks like the Reigns. And it was like, and so like Owens complained, I guess, like, again, like he's like, it's just the storyline just doesn't make sense, guys. Why are we doing this? This is going to ruin the storyline. And then went to Reigns and said it, and Reigns agreed, and that's when things changed. It was like, yeah, it doesn't make sense why they would be. He was going to be Kevin Owens' best friend. Like they're going to like try to do him and Jericho apparently. Like he was just going to come in and it's like, oh yeah, I'm Owens' best friend, and like Owens backstage is like, that makes no sense. We've never even been on TV together. Like, why would he all of a sudden just be my best friend? Like I should have been like down in NXT with him doing some stuff, or I should have been saying his name and shouting him out when things were happening. Like. This makes no sense, though. Never mention of him, and you're just going to insert him. Why? So now I guess it's a few weeks. He's supposedly going to be on Raw
now. Well.
Put him in the Hurt business.
Yeah, well.
Or he'll come out as the next Retribution member. Start shooting.
Yeah, get him a. He can wear a football helmet.
Yep, that'll be perfect.
And then his name can be Golden Nuggets.
Right, exactly. That's the one thing though. NXT's got a great show going. Dude, and that's just it. Like, I always want what.
Yeah.
How have we not gotten the Owen Sami Zayn like a full true story with these two? We had it in NXT, but it seemed like really, really rushed.
I'll tell you why. And Dan, I'll tell you why. And I think Dan and Jason would probably agree with me. I feel like the mentality at WWE is that something that was fantastic, if it's not in the WWE universe, nobody knows about it and nobody will get it. That's the mentality.
That's unfortunate
but totally.
The thing is, though, they've been there for so many years at this point in their careers with WWE that has to be out the window, because it's not even like a thing of. I mean, yes, the wrestling community would be like, finally, especially if they really let these guys go.
Yeah.
At this point, it's just like, well, they've worked everybody else. Like, let them just do it finally. Like at some point, it's gonna have to happen, you guys. At some point, unless one of them leave, but as long as they're both still there for a few more years, you're gonna need to do something with them, and it's right there staring you in the face.
At some point, absolutely, yeah.
And again, if they let them really go with it and be like, okay, well, do it within our rules that we have, but all right, go ahead. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah. Well, all right. Anything else that you can think of?
As far as what?
Oh, I don't know. Anything, man. Yeah.
Did you see from when they had the Legends night last week, Hogan saying that he feels he gets a really bad reception from the younger fans or the younger wrestlers? He's like, I'm not here to steal your spot, brother. And it's like, dude, how have you not finally realized it has nothing to do with you stealing their spot? Just these younger wrestlers know the stupid shit you've said.
Yeah.
And have no respect for you.
Yeah.
Like, you're a kind of a shitty person.
Yeah.
Because I was a Hulkamaniac myself, but you're kind of a shitty person.
I think anybody that was a wrestling fan in the 80s and early 90s certainly was, until his character came out.
Yeah. By the way, I didn't see that one, but yeah, Jason, you're right. Like, that would have been great if they would have let Punk go to ROH for a month with that WWE title and then come back. But yeah, that'll be something too. I wonder what the reception will be like when Punk finally does come back. Because I feel like it's inevitable. It's going to happen once, at least one match. He'll do one more. So
let me ask you this: Do you think AJ will come back before Punk does?
Man, I don't know. That one I could see her never coming back. She just seems so content away from wrestling.
Yeah.
Where like he still kind of pops up and talks a little bit about it. Like I rarely see her kind of talk about wrestling. I guess I don't know. I don't see much out of her. So
yeah,
she's doing like writing books and shit. So I mean, it would be cool because she was awesome, dude. I loved AJ Lee. She's one of the few that like actually like I was pretty speechless around when I met her. Like I was just kind of like, so pretty. Yeah, it was kind of creepy. But I mean,
way to go, creep her out.
The thing with Punk though is it's just like, I know everybody's like AEW, but I really do feel like he's only going to do it his way and for the right price. And I feel like his right price, I don't know if AEW and maybe the Khan family, maybe they can afford it. But I don't know. I feel like I see him coming back to WWE for one match if he does one match only.
Yeah, maybe.
But I could be wrong.
I mean, obviously, and Dan, I think you're right. The people that are in the business currently, if you're 30 years old, go back to when you're 8, 10, 12.
Yeah, I mean, you look at people like Bailey and them, like their people were Lita and Trish Stratus and The Rock and Eddie Guerrero. Like it's definitely. Where for me it was Hogan and Macho Man and the Giant and all those guys for you, and even before that for you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It definitely changed him into the guard, but that, like we said that last week, you don't need to bring Hogan to every goddamn Legends night.
No.
You don't need to bring Ron Simmons to every goddamn Legends night.
Just so he can say, damn.
You know, like, that's just it. You got guys from that era, that Attitude Era, that are now considered legends. So start bringing them out.
But see, that's therein it goes back to the problem where in Vince's mind, those are the legends. Nobody. Val Venus could be a legend.
Huh?
God, I mean, there's a ton of people from that era could be a legend. D'Lo Brown would be a legend.
Yeah.
Mark Henry obviously was there.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's definitely changed. It is funny being older now and like talking to younger wrestling fans and them being like, although I did a show with for 3 years with someone who was the same age and he knew nothing about any wrestling before the Attitude Era. So
yeah, Carlito, Carlito. So that was the buzz around Legends Night was that they advertised Carlito as coming, and he said they never contacted him.
Yeah, Candice Michelle said the same thing.
So
what it sounded like is the names were brought up, but it wasn't. Someone posted the names and they weren't supposed to post them yet.
Right. Which happened. Which, if we're honest, happens fairly regularly at WWE.
For sure. So yeah, it's it's funny, man. They blow their own shit half the time. But I mean, it's I'm really interested to see how the Rumble is going to be, though, man. Because again, I
nice.
Yeah.
That's right.
They definitely did, and I'm always interested to see too, because like Carlito and WWE never were on the best of terms. You know what I mean? Like there was always some shit between them, so you always got to wonder too on that one. But I mean, that whole Legends night was just kind of a flop, anyways. Like you should have just did a regular Raw. Like it would have served you much better. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, and then like I said, I didn't get to see Dynamite, but I've seen some stuff. I've seen that we got those guys reuniting the clubs of bullets. But like, what else happened, man? Did you catch it? Did you catch it all?
I tell you, I started watching when I got home from work and I fell asleep. So I'm a little out in left field too. Pretty good for a pro wrestling show to just not watch it, right?
Well, like I said, we were still doing our show, so I didn't get to watch it, and I've been busy, so I never watched back. Plus, I don't like watching it if I missed it, especially when I end up reading half of it online. I just don't remember.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, we were doing that show, which that was. Did you get to watch it?
I didn't yet.
It's a pretty great story about Watts punching Hogan in the balls when he was a kid.
Nice.
Yeah, so check that out.
Oh yeah, Sting and Darby Allin. Oh, man,
so when you say set up, Dan, like set up as them together, or they're gonna eventually wrestle? Because the tribute show made it look like they're gonna just be together. And I know that's the big talk: is it gonna be a mentor thing, or are they gonna actually have a rivalry? Because again, I've been on the record. I'm cool with Sting being there. But I didn't. He's like Goldberg for me at this point. Not he was a better wrestler, better talent, but I don't need to see Sting wrestle anymore.
That's right. I heard that was fantastic. Also,
yeah, I'll have to watch
I didn't watch it yet. I will try to watch it before tomorrow.
I thought I heard that Wardlow and Hager was good too. I could be wrong, but I thought I heard that too.
That's right. That I think that was at the opening match.
I didn't get to see any of it because I was doing the show. I agree that Sting feels like a cinematic match wrestler, but here's my gripe with all of that. And maybe it's just because I'm old school. At some point, cinematic needs to end because, again, wrestling is best live and in front of a live crowd.
Yeah.
I don't want to see your special effects. I just want to see you tell me the story in the ring. So it's cool, but if it's just, to me, it's gonna be a little sad if we see that this is the future of pro wrestling and that it's just a half wrestling, half cinematic. Yeah, man. And I'm a Hager fan.
That's
I've loved that guy since he was Swagger, so I'm glad
yeah.
to hear that. I always thought he should have been bigger in WWE. He just, that Jack Swagger character was so good when they gave him Money in Bank and all that stuff. And even when he was We the People, it was like almost a resurgence for him.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like WWE dropped the ball on him. I really do.
Yeah. Hell, okay. So having said all of that, we don't have any kind of, well, we would have had a list if I hadn't forgotten. We're going to have a list. But so now, for the very first time ever, we're going to have a, you never know. We're going to have a Ask Us Anything. And I mean anything. You want to know what Ace's third grade teacher's name was? He'll tell you. You want to know what my
was?
Well, you'll make something up. You know. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm excited if they're going to finally do something with Shinsuke. That'll be interesting.
Dude, he's such a talent, and I do feel that I feel bad for some of it, like some of these talent, like him, Asuka. I enjoyed Rio, even Sheeta. I think I would be a bigger fan of if she was able to do more in that language barrier. Just sometimes can get the best of them. But I thought Nakamura did good with it. He was able to say enough, and he's just an eccentric character that it's like he doesn't need to speak fluid English. What he was doing worked. So. Just a bummer, man. Another great talent that it's like, but you saw that too with Hideo when he was there too, and he was like huge, and there was buzz for him, and they just never used him right. Injuries too. He was plagued with some pretty bad injuries early on when they were wanting to do stuff with him, but again, it was just like he eventually just disappeared, and now he's not there anymore.
Yeah. So anyway, those of you that are watching, go ahead, ask us anything, and we mean anything. And if we don't know the answer, we'll make it up. And if it's an opinion, we'll give you an honest opinion. And as long as it doesn't violate terms of service. You answered. You
I know, right?
Jason answered the questioner. So perfect.
I couldn't remember it, Tommy. I just remembered Hideo, so I'm glad you guys remember that my brain has turned to mush in the last like 4 months. Like I just the anxiety is going crazy.
Yeah, it is a little bit weird that way. When they there's just something about the fact that WWE seems to like homegrown talent more than they like anybody that ever came out of any other promotion or any other country, which is kind of, I mean, you wouldn't think it'd be that way, but it is.
Well, you got to have that big major buzz is the thing for WWE. Look at AJ Styles. It took how long before they finally brought him in and let him be AJ Styles?
That's true.
So, I mean, you see these people where they're like, a Finn Balor, and it's like, hey, we want to bring you in, but we kind of want you to be like this, a version of what you're doing. And he's coming from where, well, I'm already big on my own doing what I'm doing. Why do I need to change it? Which is why WWE definitely likes having homegrown, because they then tell them and help grow them to what they want.
Right.
And there's no like, well, no, but I was doing this and it worked. There's no back and forth with those homegrown talents. You know what I mean?
Right. So, I would say the only, I mean, this is one of the few that have ever come over to WWE from somewhere else is Jericho, and kind of got to do his deal. But that's, I think part of that is because he was one of the first ones to leave WCW and come to WWEF before all the crap hit the fan.
Yeah, he was the first. He was probably the first big draw name. Well, I wouldn't say draw, because
Big Show.
If he wasn't a big draw, like WCW wouldn't have let him go. But yeah, and Big Show too. But like, I think those guys were those guys that flopped before the sale, so it was a bigger deal of we got our hands on their talent now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And which is great, because could you imagine if they were like, Jericho, we want you to do this, and it's nothing like him? It would have been horrible. Not necessarily. Jericho can usually turn shit into whatever, but yeah, I mean, it's crazy. You don't. Those are names like like you said, like people that can come from outside WWE and still use that same gimmick. Even the WCW guys. I mean, Booker T had the name, but Harlem Heat was never used again. They owned it. They could have used it. You know?
But Stevie Ray never came over with him. Did he? I don't think he did.
No, but I mean, you still could have used it.
Yeah.
Fuck Stevie Ray.
No, come on, man. You don't like the Big Brother?
I don't care.
Yeah, KO was down there for. He was down at developmental, and that always shocked me. But I remember how excited we were when we found out that he got signed.
Yeah, and then it just took forever.
Yeah,
it's interesting. It really is. Because then you see someone like, I feel like Matt Riddle kind of came in, signed, and was very quickly moved up. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, Dan, King Booker was a great gimmick. My favorite would always be when he'd do his little speeches, the King Booker decrees, and then they'd say something. He's like, what? What you say, sucker? Like, just breaks character into like just ghetto Booker. I would laugh every time he'd do that backstage. It was my favorite.
So anyway, any questions that you have of Ace or I that you've been curious these many months that we've been sitting at home?
I don't think anybody gives a shit about it.
I don't care. I don't care. This. We put this on our format. This is what we're going to do, and I don't give a shit if we sit here quiet for 20 minutes. Oh, here we go.
That's always hard because there's not enough. I mean, for me, Austin, Rock, and Hogan.
And we go back and forth. There's I feel like it's got to be Austin, it's got to be Rock, it's got to be Hogan, and I got to be honest with you, man. It's like you go back and forth, but I always like to put Piper on there because without Piper, there's no Hogan mania. There's no
Rock and wrestling.
No, there's
no Rock wrestling. There's no mania. There's none of it.
Yeah, that was a softball. Dan has a question here. What room in your house do you do this in?
My living room that looks into my kitchen and my very small 1-bedroom apartment.
I obviously do mine in the arena that's closest to my bathroom.
JR is actually on Shockwave.
I am in the stands, turned around. And
you told Billy Corgan to shove it. You're getting in.
Billy Corgan, I am watching. You'd be surprised how hard it is for me to coordinate with all the cameramen to get me in the shot on everything. No, I do.
They don't even break concentration from their match.
No, they don't even know I'm there. I do this in my bedroom, which is why I always have something on the back on the green screen, because you don't need to see what that looks like. I do that out of respect for those of you that watch us do this.
Yeah, and I don't have a fancy camera to do the green screen yet. So, but I'm also hopefully in the next 6 months we'll be moving and we'll actually have kind of a studio room set up. So.
And I hope I can keep getting hours so I don't have to do this show from my car. I won't be able to green screen in the car.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. We're live. Where's JR tonight? I'm out by 494 and I'm actually at the Mall of America parking lot. They got good Wi-Fi, guys. Good Wi-Fi here.
That's why I'd be doing it all the time at McDonald's. They got good Wi-Fi out in the parking lot.
That's great. Well, yeah, I just seen that. Just seen that he is now a free agent, and let me tell you, if WWE, well, I mean, the thing is, if he went to WWE, they're gonna just ruin his whole gimmick. Maybe not though. I don't know, but I mean, he definitely should be picked up by either WWE or AEW. I think he's a big enough talent. I think he's great.
Here's the thing. My real feeling about Dalton Castle is this. I feel like his name is out there. I read somewhere that he's probably going to shop around, and he might even just stay with ROH. But if he doesn't, I mean, I feel like he'd be better off at AEW in terms of his character sustaining itself. Jay White's. Here's the thing. I think the last thing I read was that the whole deal's a work. He's still got about 5 years left on a contract.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I read the whole thing was a work. He says, I quit. And he because somebody did a little bit of backtracking. And while he would be great anywhere, I think he's still going to end up with staying at New Japan.
Well, he is being advertised for a New Japan event in March, it says.
Yeah.
So I don't know, though. I mean, it sounded like WWE was going to make a strong play at him, and I feel like, and it's hard too because there's a lot of nice, there's a lot of names over in WWE that would like to see him over there that have those connections to him.
Oh yeah,
New Japan as well. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, right now because things have been slow with the pandemic. We obviously saw WWE have that layoff. We haven't seen a real big hot moment of signings between both companies at where they're almost competing. So I don't know. It'll be if he does go somewhere, I feel like WWE will be more aggressive with some of these bigger names.
It may be true, Dan. I'm not sure. I mean, I saw it on one of the I can't remember if it was Wrestle Talk or What Culture, but they said, yeah, we did a little bit of backtracking, and he signed a 7-year contract when he signed it. So
yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Yeah, right. Yeah, dude, I love Dalton. Yeah, Apter, man. Cool news about Apter is he's on VOC Nation now, VOC Radio Nation.
Oh, no kidding.
I'm the Briscoe and Big A show on, so very cool to welcome Bill Apter to that VOC Nation family. Yeah, so check that out. But
we're not in that family.
Man, yeah,
I'm not in that family. You're in the family. I'm not in the family.
Oh.
I'm the guy 6 feet from living in this car. You're the guy interviewing Wes and Jerry Briscoe and sharing the bill with Bill Apter. That's you.
I'll tell you right now, I'm not a Cornette guy. It's like the thing is, I think half of the shit he says just because he's still playing the gimmick. And it just gets annoying sometimes. Plus, again, too, like I think he can't look at it from the respect. Everything he looks at it as this is how it's done, and it's
this
like
is how it used to be,
right? And it's like, bro, times have changed, and at this point, you can't like call some of these girls the things you call them. Like you have to at least respect them and be like, well, they're doing what they're doing.
Well, and the whole reason he got fired from NWA,
right? Exactly. You know, just a wild guy, you know what I mean? I've always liked Apter, always into that. Always respected that guy. I don't know. Do you pay too much attention to a lot of these wrestling media guys?
Not as much. But I will say this about Cornette. I used to like Cornette, and where I sort of got off of his bandwagon was on Dark Side of the Ring, the first season where he just couldn't let go of bashing Vince Russo the whole time. It's like, see, the problem with Cornette, and if it is him doing the gimmick, he's got to stop it. But if it's not him, it's just it's an old guy that's just living in the past, and it makes him irrelevant. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, he was. Jason. He was indeed. And in fact, the comment that he made, you can still go back and watch the match, but they've erased his comments.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I try not to. There's so many guys that are wrestling journalists and historians out there now, and a lot of them, unfortunately, kind of are out for themselves. So it's hard to see, but like I said, I've always been a Bill Apter fan. I enjoy reading and hearing Metzler's reports sometimes. I know some people either love him or hate him, but sometimes it's good news, and sometimes he's got good insight in the business. He knows it very, very well, and I will always be a Wade Keller guy. Love Wade Keller.
Yeah.
Great dude, does a great job, Minnesota boy. So PW Torch, I've always been a fan of, even though they had even though there's some questionable things right after the Brody Lee passing, unfortunately involved PW Torch, but that's all been situated. So, yeah,
That's how it works. You know, you get people that work under you, and then they pull stupid shit, and then they gotta go.
Yeah, basically, don't be a dummy. Is what the whole point of that is.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
dude. Well, until someone asks another question, I watched You Can't Kill David Arquette this weekend.
Oh, was it good?
It is really good. I enjoyed it.
You know, David Arquette, because you know this, I got to before the pandemic, I get to work with him in RJ City, when they were up here in Minneapolis doing a show, and it was a comedy / Q&A kind of show, and it was a lot of fun, and there were a lot of people there, and I was pleasantly surprised. David Arquette is fascinating to me simply because he was such a huge wrestling fan when all of that crap with WCW started, that he was just a fan. And, you know, as we all know now, he didn't really want to become the WCW champion because he thought it was disrespectful.
Yeah, he told Dallas he didn't want to do it, and Dallas is like, bro, can't put the belt on him, bro. Yeah. Bro, do yoga, bro.
Anyway, point being, he in my dealing with him, he was very humble about his fame, and of course he's aside from the movies, he was, I mean, from the WCW debacle, I mean, he was a pretty accomplished actor before that any of that ever happened.
Right. So have you seen the documentary though?
No, I haven't.
So what's really cool about it is it really does tell his whole thing there in the whole documentary is, I just want to be welcomed and respected by this industry that I love and respect, and I feel I disrespected them, and that wasn't my intentions, and I need to make it right. And that's kind of this whole journey. And it was very interesting. And then you kind of see the demons he was doing too, because like big alcoholic and stuff for a while. And stuff like that, and then to see like him get his stuff together, and we all seen it on the wrestling media. Like he did have a phenomenal year. Like he really did get in there and was turning heads in with his matches, and it was good. Yeah, considering that before that he had a heart attack like a year before.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And again, being an alcoholic and all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, it was really cool. It was a fun watch, man. Definitely people should watch it. I didn't realize it. It's on Hulu. It was on Hulu.
Hulu?
Yeah.
Jumping Catfish.
Yeah. And like Jungle Boy and Luke Perry. I mean, there's a lot of people in there. Like Peter Avalon's like the main guy he trained with.
Oh, cool.
At his house. Yeah. He got, and they showed that match, and they show like a slow-mo of when Gage went with the fluorescent light, and you can tell he just moved just right. It was just obviously not on purpose, but it just happened. And just gashed Arquette here, and just like he hops out of the ring like he's gonna leave, goes back in pissed off, basically does like a punch, throws him, gets knocked down, lets Gage pin him, goes out. And then this is where they cut to, and I didn't realize it, someone like wrapping a towel around his neck in the parking lot while they're getting the car to bring him to the hospital. And it was actually Luke Perry.
Oh wow.
And it was Jungle Boy driving. I saw that when they drop him off at the hospital. It was Jungle Boy driving the car, but I never realized it was Luke Perry who was with him. It turns out they were really close friends.
Interesting.
Yeah, barely. Like it, dude, it was a lot of blood.
Oh yeah, I remember at the time it was like he almost died.
Well, and he fell off after that. Like he like relapsed.
Yeah.
Like right after that, like his wife's on there saying like it was like he almost died and just it went to shit. And then he kind of got it back together, I guess, towards the end there. But
which wife?
Whoever he's married to now.
Oh,
you talking about Courtney Cox?
Yeah,
she's in it because they have the kid and the kid's there, and like she watches one of the matches on her daughter's phone and shit. And she's in it. Wow. Both of his sisters are in it.
Yeah, Patricia and the other one.
Yeah, Patricia and
Rosanna,
and then there's like a brother. But yeah, it was an interesting watch. If you guys haven't seen it, watch that documentary. It's pretty good.
This is interesting. His whole family, his actors, his I think it was it his father or his grandfather was a fella named Cliff Arquette, who was also known as, if you go back and watch the old Hollywood squares from the 60s, he was Charlie Weaver.
Yep. Yeah,
very interesting.
Family was in the entertainment business. Yeah, very excited. That was very cool of Tony Khan to just buy the rights out for that. Like, very cool.
I think it's beautiful because I think Tony Khan is obviously not shy about doing that when it makes sense.
Yeah. Sabu was just doing a bunch of interviews for a few different episodes, it sounded like.
Yeah, I can't wait till Dark Side of the Ring comes out again too.
Yeah, it'll be cool, man. There's some interesting wrestling stuff coming out because they got the next season of that's going to be coming out. Rock's introduction of his show that's like his childhood into wrestling, I guess.
Oh wow, that'll be cool.
I think I saw Hornswoggle's got maybe an animated wrestling thing coming out.
Did you ever watch the about 2 or 3 years ago? There was a documentary that came out about like 265 days or something, or whatever it was about on the being on the road. And I know Greg Valentine's in it, JJ Dillon's in it. Tons of the old school guys are in it.
I think I've seen it on some streaming service. I don't think I watched it.
Okay.
There's a few out there. There's one called Card Subject to Change. It's got like Kevin Sullivan and some other people in it. There's some other ones that just kind of have nobodies. Dude, I was about to watch the Wrestling Road Diaries the other day on DVD. Which, if you've never seen those, especially the first two, because the third one's really the third one. It's the third one. Okay. So the first, so the first one's Colt. I cannot remember the other guy's name, and then Bryan Danielson. And it's pretty interesting. It's all right before Bryan goes to WWE.
Yeah.
And then the next one was him and two comic wrestlers that I can't remember.
Here's Goro. Goro, you haven't been around in a while. We miss you, buddy.
Yeah, you just cat hair. That's all.
He wants to do fluorescent over your stained up sticky couch.
You find a whole shitload of cat hair. That's about it.
Which I like.
I don't.
Something from Dan. And he mentioned this before, but we got off on a tangent. What are your other interests besides comedy and wrestling, Ace?
Man, I don't know.
You don't have any?
I mean, I put a lot of time into wrestling, and like when I'm not doing wrestling things or working, it's pretty comedy rounded entertainment. Like it's watching stand up or watching just sitcoms or funny movies. Like everything's either wrestling or I'm laughing.
Yeah.
But I would golf. That's probably like the next big thing when it's nice out in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Like get on the golf course. I'm a happy camper.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's music too, man. I've always been, that.
Well, we both been in radio, so.
Yeah, and you know that, and I've done mobile DJing for so many years. I mean, that's, the funny thing is, not a lot of people realize that I used to do stand up for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's the like very little.
No, but you
made me.
Here's a bit. Well, yeah, I made you.
You gave me the final boot to do it.
Here's the whole story, folks. We had Ace and I working at a radio station, and we had another one of our coworkers, and we were out having some drinks one night. And we said, you know who ought to be here? Joey D. Now, Joey D, none of you will know, but he also worked at the radio station. And Well, I could do that. I could do that. I'm like, my face is like, by God, he broke him in half. That man has children.
I know what we're doing for the Halloween show.
There you go. But anyway, so we called Joey D, and he's like, I'll be right down. And he said, and we said, well, where are you? He says, I'm at the comedy club.
Yeah.
I'm doing stand-up, he fucking said. Now, Joey D got embarrassed opening the mic at the radio station. I mean, he was so shy that we just were like, no way. So he came down, he told him, and he'd been doing it for a while. I don't know what we never did. I don't remember if he ever did tell us why he started doing it.
He was just like, I want to try it.
I just gonna try it, and I'm doing it. And he was, and so we went. So here's the three of us drunk idiots and Joe, and we all say, that. That's right. It's his third. She's all going to be third party pretty soon. Yeah. So the three of us decide in 3 weeks that we're going to go and try it. We're going to go try stand-up comedy. And
you didn't wait though. I think you went like the next week. Like,
I went. So here's the thing.
He was doing it. You were like, I'm doing it.
But here's the thing. I know that I went at least one time because I don't like to hop into that stuff. I like to get the lay of the land. I like to see how the hell stuff works before I start doing it. Okay. So I went at least one time. I watched Joe and I was surprised that he was good. And then I thought, okay, fine. And then on the night that I went up, I think I was the only one that did. And I don't even think you guys came, which is fine.
No, I wasn't there.
But I sucked. I mean, I sucked ass. She's gonna look like Angelina Jolie that killed her.
Nice.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Holy cow!
Yeah, what show that's gonna be?
That's gonna be crazy. Girl, God dang it, man! He's got it. You got it.
I can never tell if her lips are that big because of surgery or if it's just because of the boyfriend she has. Because she dates beaters, isn't that the thing? Like the guy she's with, like known for beating his girls.
Yep. In fact, Dan, excuse me, you may know, or may have heard of a comedian over there in Milwaukee, Kenosha area, in that area over there, named Dobie Maxwell. Dobie, I think, used to be involved with Frankie DeFalco, and I think he might have been the announcer, but I'm not sure. He might have got a free sock. Anyway, let's see here. Nice. Anyway, so that's the story. We lost control.
I did comedy.
Perfect, because that's what I want. Anyway, I did comedy. Finally got you to do comedy, and we did stuff for a while. Well, and I still do, but
just so everybody knows the payoff. The three of us said we would do it in 3 weeks. It wasn't in the time frame, but all three of us did end up doing it.
Finally,
out of the three of us, two of us weren't bad.
And out of the three of us, one of us is semi-professional now.
Yeah, look at you. I was I watched a bunch of stuff today, and I was like, man, I kind of want to try stand-up again.
You should. When everything opens up back down there again. By the way, state of Minnesota now, entertainment venues can open at 25%.
Yeah, so you can have like.
So that means if your comedy club holds 100 people, you still can't make any money, so you won't open.
Just need that warm weather to get here, so you guys can start doing shows outside.
God, let me tell you, doing the shows. The last show I did was in September 16th. And it was in a brewery, and they didn't care about me because they're selling breweries and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. But we had 25%. 25% in this brewery who didn't really care about it. They just wanted to do the show. 25 people.
Hell yeah.
They sold all 25 tickets. It's sold out.
How many showed up though?
16.
Hell yeah. That's the best part. Is that
So
they sold
nine,
tickets out.
they sold it out. It's a sold out show, but 9 people didn't show up. And the people are there that wanted to be there, and it was great. But it's just weird. I did 2 of them outside over the summer. One was fantastic. One was so freaking. Yeah. Oh yeah. That put butts in the seat. What is it? Schiavone. It's Schiavone, but Schiavone is what Jericho calls him. Schiavone.
Oh yeah, and Snoop Dogg flying off the top rope. We didn't even mention that.
Oh no, we didn't. Which
Snoop Dogg doing anything is great.
He flew off. He did. Living legend there, Garo.
Hell yeah.
Larry Z.
Let's go, man.
I
think it's the greatest thing that I got to meet him and Nick Bockwinkel together and like talk to them.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, it was great.
That was one of the great and storied rivalries of the AWA, for God's sakes.
Oh, and they couldn't have been any classier. This is the same because I was standing with them. This is when Honky Tonk Man got sent away from the show, and he drove all pissed off without a shirt on because he got sent home because he was being a dickhead. Yeah, man. So,
yeah.
So, yeah, man. It's should we do what we were gonna do tonight for next week's show as far as a list? We were gonna do our favorite theme songs.
Let's do that.
So we'll do our favorite entrance songs. I'm not gonna say top because we're not trying to say these are like the top ones ever, but they're our favorite ones. Because mine are not gonna maybe agree with everybody, but yeah, we'll do that. Maybe we should just hum the song since we can't get the rights to it.
No, I think we can do it. I think we'll be able to do it. I won't be able to run like a whole. I won't be able to run the entrance.
You can only do 15 seconds, right?
Something like that, which just sucks because some of the best parts take longer than that. But we'll see what we can do. We might get booted off. I don't know. I'm just like I don't know.
We'll figure something.
Goro, Goro, send us an email, dude. Seriously. And if you're you're watching on Twitch, I'm gonna post our email. What is our email, by the way? Did we ever change it?
I don't remember, honestly.
I'm gonna send you a.
I think it's just the 2 count. Then I don't remember if it's TWO or the number 2. I really don't.
I don't remember where it is either. So I'm gonna send you that one there.
You can follow the 2 count. I think it's the number 2 count on Twitter, and that works too. I love that you have like 5 pages that post it.
Well, I did because we're on 5 pages.
I know, it's hilarious. It's just funny when you see that. So
right, and then if you go to the to our webpage, the 2 count. I know we've got an email address or something on there. But Goro, get a hold of us. I mean, I'd love to talk with you and just we could just do wrestling jokes with you for a whole show. That'd be fun. Because you obviously and clearly know so much about wrestling that I would absolutely love to get you. Yeah, you can do that. Hell yeah, let's do it all, baby. You know it. We'll do it. And I'm serious. I would love to do it. Absolutely.
We've been wanting to do like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 type thing with some matches.
The problem is we keep getting booted off.
I know. We got to figure out how to do it.
I think so. Here's the thing. I think we could do it if we didn't do it live.
Yeah, maybe.
Because when you're doing anything like that and it's live, they throw you the hell off right away. We've had multiple experiences with that. But
the first month or two was a little rough doing this shit.
Well, no, the first month or two we did okay, and then we saw, let's do this. It's like now we know we can do pictures live.
Yeah.
Which is boring as hell. But we can't do so we tried to do, we were even trying to do Twitter from other people, and we were getting pulled down. So I think the big problem is doing the things live, and then because they just don't like you doing it live.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you do it recorded and say, all rights, we're all using this for entertainment, we're not trying to make money, and for all, then they'll let you do it, I think.
Well,
but anyway,
have to try it out.
Yeah, absolutely, girl. My God, we got to hire you. If we were making money, we'd pay you too.
Right.
I mean, my God. Well, that's no problem. We let's be fair though. We respect everybody. We respect everybody as much as we possibly can, because we know that without people like you coming and helping us, and on all the people that are listening, Dan and Jason and Erica, everybody, we're indebted to you to let us do this, and I don't think the impact checks bounce. I just don't think they're very big.
Now.
$6.
Now.
Yeah, now. So was Wes making good money when he was working for them? Do you know?
To be honest, I've never really asked him how much he was making.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I mean, it wasn't like huge, but it was
probably enough to live on.
Yeah, it was enough to live on. But the other thing with Wes, though, you got to remember is from like 17 to like his like later 20s. I think he was mid to late 20s. He was a pro wakeboarder and like 1 or 2 rated in the world. So I mean, like he was making money when he was a kid, just traveling the world doing wakeboarding. Yeah. So like he's always been a pretty good money guy. Like he's just smart about what he does. So I mean, he was able to kind of keep going even if he wasn't doing like getting much. But I mean, the other thing too is, that was a hot time. That was Hogan, that was Angle, that was Flair, that was all of them were coming there then. And it was kind of one of the times they were really pushing money into TNA. So I mean, he was doing it had to have been all right. And to this day, I mean, I still think Aces and Eights was one of their better heel factions that they've ever came up with in TNA. Especially from the response. I mean, those guys were hated. But yeah, man. If you go to Wes and I's YouTube or Facebook, the Briscoe and Big A Show, or on VOC Radio Nation, you can find the audio version of the podcast. But yeah, we had Jerry on last week, his dad, and that was a lot of fun. Like I said, there's a cool story. It was like the first thing we talked about, and there is some technical issues. Jerry had some pretty crappy internet issues for the beginning of the show, but we got it worked out till the end, and he cut out a little bit again. But great story about Wes as a kid punching Hulk Hogan in the nuts. So that's fun. And Savage, I think, was another story. Stories about like Hillbilly Jim coming and kicking him out of his bed as a child because the boys would constantly stop by and crash at Jerry's house, and he'd always like, take Wes's room. Cool story about Jerry wearing one of the Aces and Eights bandanas to a taping for TNA, just to watch Wes because he wasn't told he couldn't go, but he was told it wouldn't look good if you were seen there, being that you work for WWE.
Nice.
So he improvised, and then he talks about fucking around with Bischoff because he had the thing on and Bischoff didn't know who he was. Again, we had some really cool stories with Jerry, and we're going to get more. We're going to do another one in a few months with him because we had a lot of fun with it. So it was just, man, dude, that guy is just, I mean, he started Hogan. He put the nail in the coffin to get Angle to go into the professional wrestling world.
Yeah.
I mean, the names that Jerry Briscoe is responsible or has a hand in bringing to the light. Again, we would have never had Hulkamania if Jerry Briscoe didn't be like, you should be a wrestler. He even said, he's like, oh yeah, he was like bass player in some bar band.
Yeah.
Like you should be a wrestler. That's what started it. I mean, it's crazy, man, but check it out. It was a really fun episode. So yeah, again, YouTube, the Briscoe and Big A Show, Facebook, you can find it, audio version on VOC Radio Nation. And I don't know if we have a show this week or not. We haven't really decided.
Yeah, well,
so watch
if you do, you do, and if you don't, you don't.
You know, watch the Twitters and Facebook.
If you don't, you can catch up with watching your AEW shit for this week.
Oh yeah, well, I'm even I would anticipate if we do a show this week, it'll just be him and I, not a guest this week, which means we'll probably just do it live on Thursday if we do one.
Nice.
So I should be able to watch Dynamite this week. Very rarely do our shows interfere with Dynamite, and even when we do it if we do a pre-record on Wednesday, because we usually always air Thursdays, we still try to have it done before Dynamite, just because obviously Wes would like to watch his lady.
I love that. It sounds very interesting to me. It's kind of like Master Blaster and Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. I like that kind of shit. Master Blaster. Who run Barter Town? Anyway. First hour it'll work. Oh, Godfrey. Well, all right, gang. Thank you so much, Goro, Dan, Jason, Erica. Anybody else that's watching that didn't comment, feel free to comment. We're not. We'd love to have you. Yeah, please do that. Please do that. And we will next week do our favorite entrance music of all time. And other than that, you can track us down at the2count.com. I got nothing going on but de-icing planes at the airport. So I'm trying to stay out of the car. Check out Big Ace and the Big Ace or Briscoe and Big Ace show. See you, Erica. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Bye.
And to all of you, we appreciate it. Hogan, he did. It was up in the Mall of America, by the way.
Yeah. Pasta Mania.
Brother.
Take her easy, Jason.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, but I don't know if they'll ever do. I don't know if they'll ever do that again. Anyway, folks, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it so much. We'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.